Hello, it is Shiru. I'm actually play. I'm actually. This is not going to be a gameplay video as much as it is me talking about my experiences with mobile games. I kind of wanted to do something like this because I've had experiences with mobile games, and I'm watching more and more of them pop up on PC as well, and I'm starting to um, really see see how predatory they were back in the past, and seeing some of the newer ones that are trying to be video games that look like video games, but they're still, in a sense, gotcha games. They're still mobile games. They're not, in my opinion, real games. And it's due to the mechanics of them. I know this video may come out as being hateful towards those games. If you want to play them, that's fine. But to me, I think they need to be possibly banned. That may be going a little too harsh, but at least dealt with in a way that, because I know a lot of lawsuits have come out because of how they are, and I'm not going to get into specifics on that, but I will get into the specifics of some of the details and how much you spend on some of these things, and how relatively expensive they can become when you can buy a normal game for $70 and keep that game and have it and play it over time. Now, some of the major games, are like Genshin Impact, Fate Grand Order, Raid Shadow Legends, which is one that I don't know. In a sense, these games start offending people. They should offend people, but they don't. And people actually buy them because, or people get behind them because, they can be somewhat fun. But a lot of the mobile games that even I played, you could be AFK. It means you don't have to play them. You can, or like in Fate Grand Order, you had to pick the cards for the character's attack. You had to pick the cards for the characters to attack. And like Azora's Lane, you just controlled 3 ship girls in the front, and then like battleships in the rear, and aircraft carriers in the rear that do special attacks. But I will say I started with Fate Grand Order, and for me, Fate Grand Order, at first, it was somewhat enjoyable, but the way the gameplay is, it got old real quick. And it was just one of those where, sorry. I had to concentrate a little bit. But it was one of those where you pick the cards, the character does the actions. If you pick the same card for 3 times for the same character, they do a 4th attack. And so the cycle goes on. The cycle goes on with that gameplay, and the further and further you got in the beginning stages are extremely easy. It makes you get through them real quick. But play, the more you play into it, the more difficult they become, which is a normal game mechanic. But there's a problem. You are now starting to go into that notion of having to what's the best way to put it? You're now getting into that motion of what you need to do now is build your characters up, but a lot of these games you can play for free, but eventually it gets to a point where it's going to be hard playing free. It gets to a point where you start needing characters that are 5-star. You're starting to need the craft essences and all this other stuff to really make the character stronger and to make it
it seems that a lot of people want Ivanovsky dead. Which one are we working for?
The one who's paying. Does it matter who or what they are? Individual, corporation, or government?
But when it comes down to these kinds of things, it really makes certain things harder or easier. And this is the point where it feels like money starts to be a catalyst. Because now you're starting to have to possibly buy your way into making the character stronger and things like that. And you need the stronger characters. Like most of the ending, you need like a 4 or 5 star. Now, with Fate Grand Order, you'll play some campaigns where you'll get a free 4-star servant. Sometimes that 4-star servant isn't the best. What it means is you're playing with a character that is weaker than you think it should be. So you get those free 4 stars, and sometimes some of these games do allow you to get a free 5-star. But guess what? Now you have to play now you actually have to play now you actually, so if you get a free 5-star, they're pretty, you can sometimes pick. I'm trying to word this together so it's not like word salad. So spending money becomes sometimes inherent to some of these games. And that can be an issue sometimes, and sometimes that is just what you don't want. So that was the game I started with, was Fate Grand Order. And I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a fun little game. But then, as some of my favorite characters from the series started showing up, I started spending money, which was the bad part. And I had played that game for months. For months. And characters keep coming out that I loved and I wanted. But guess what? There's the problem. The characters I wanted were pricey. At the time, if it's still the same amount, you were paying $79.99 for I can't remember how much the how many sync quartz you got for the $79.99. And I would pay. I would set a goal for myself to not spend such and such. You know what I mean? I would spend maybe $150. But here comes the problem. That $150 then expands into $200, $250, $300, and the more and more I kept getting into it, the more and more certain characters I wanted. And by the time I decided to quit that game and I moved on to Azora's Lane, I had probably spent a couple of thousand. I had probably spent a couple of $1,000. And at the time, I didn't think nothing of it. Like I said, at the time, I didn't think nothing of it. But now that I'm thinking about it now, and this was years ago. And this was years ago. And like I said, I didn't think anything about it, so I didn't really care. But so Fate Grand Order, I spent at least $1,000, at least a couple of thousand to almost possibly $10,000 going after characters that are just JPEGs that really mean nothing to me in the long term, because what if the game fails? What if what if the game fails? What if it disappears? So I would have lost my money anyways. Now, could I have sold it? Possibly, and made a pretty good amount of money off of it. Possibly. I didn't think about that when I got rid of it. So that was one of the bigger problems I had, is I got so into it to where I spent money. I spent thousands of dollars, and to be frank, that was stupid. It was literally stupid. And it's kind of one of those things where you realize you wasted the money. And because I wasted so much money, and I did it again with Azora's Lane. I put way too much money into another game that
Get him!
that I shouldn't have. Now, Azora's Lane, in my opinion, was a little bit better.
Never mind.
And a little bit more kinder in its
Cover me.
was a little bit more kinder in how it handled its pool.
Shit, it's one of ours.
And one of the things is its pool was a little bit kinder with the 5 stars. But it could still be kind of mean at the same time. I will go into more details with that, but the problem now I'm seeing is we're having mobile games we're having games as gacha games disguised as PC games. This is where it's actually becoming extremely dangerous. Because we're now having some of these games show up as basically PC games. And that's the scariest part. Because they're showing up as PC games. Like, I know how Raid you can actually play online or on PC now. And I think it's okay. As I was thinking, it was Wavering Waves or Weathering Waves. Genshin Impact is PC as well. So games like that that are kind of disguised as PC games can actually be very dangerous because it because it's a lot of these games, and I forgot to mention with Fate Grand Order, craft essences and characters can be pulled in the same group. You can pull the... You can actually pull from the same group, so you're not guaranteed a character of this video. I've seen these games being brought in, and they're nothing but gacha games. They're nothing but steal your money, and buy JPEGs. That's all. That's all they are. And it makes me sick. And it makes me sick to see how these games are. And I just hope in later on people start to really wake up to how these games are. Because these games need to be dealt in a way on a personal level. I've ran a folly with them. I ran a folly with them. And in my opinion, they're the makers of these games need to be somewhat dealt with. Now, I'm going to bring up 3 of the games that I played. One of them I didn't. I'm going to bring these up because I'm going to show you the percentages of what these games don't tell you. So for first off, this is where this. All right. So This is from Game FAQS, GameSpot. This is Fate Grand Order. So, any random 5-star, it's still a very small percentage. It's a 0.7%. So, the dollar value per certain, I will kind of let you read over that. But what I want to really look at is these. Any random 5-star for a 1% chance. Roll of 3. And you see as it goes down, and then rate up 5-star. This is what's really baffling, is it's already a very low chance, so you're spending lots of money for that 5-star, and you're not guaranteed it at all. There was one character I went after. I finally gave up after probably spending over $1,000 to try to get her, and it was Nero Bride. It was ridiculous. This is why I say these games need to be held accountable for what they do, because you've got to remember, the pools for Fate Grand Order also have craft essences in those. So I already had this pulled up. The next one is Game Rant. I don't know much about Genshin Impact, but again, 5-star is a 0.6% chance of in any banner. But it looks like items, I'm not sure 100%, but it looks like items are in the same pool. So again, that's another one like Fate Grand Order, where not only are you going after a servant, you're actually getting craft essences. That takes away from that servant. And that right there is not good. The last one I pulled up was supposed to be Azora's Lane. Ah, crap. Well, I'm just going to use the AI. It's not really all too accurate, but again, it still shows. So, Azora's Lane chance of building an ultra rare ship girl is 1.2. So, again, it's a chance of getting that ship girl you want. But I will say, I give Azora Lane credit. They're a little bit kinder with how they dish out their characters. When I played this game, I got more golds than anything, than any other game. But this is because the pool for these is just the ship girls. So, with that being said, this one's much kinder than any of the other ones I've seen, but still, it's still predatorial. It still charges you money, and you could play these for free, but the problem is, not only are you going after the ship girls, you're going after costumes. Fate Grand Order has no cost. Well, I haven't played for so long, but when I was playing it, there was no costumes or anything, so I don't know if they changed that to this day. I do know of characters that they brought in for Fate Grand Order. like Malacine and all them. A lot of the newer ones, but not all of them. Because I kind of did keep a close eye on it just to see what was going on with it. But you see what I'm saying is that these games are super predatory, and I don't know what we can do. Like I said, I think some lawsuits have been put up against some of these games, but it's still for the fact that they are predatory. And I admit I have put thousands of dollars into these mobile games, and I am ashamed of it. Oh well. Well, at least I've completed that. But like I said, do I just hope this helps. And like I said, I fell for the trap. Other people will fall for the trap, but it's just something I wanted to talk about. So thank you for listening, and if this video sucks, I know it does, but it's just something I thought I would do. So I'm sorry, I apologize, it sucks, but I'm not good at making the videos. So I'm sorry. Laters.